Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and in this video I'll be profiling an article from the economiccollapseblog.com titled, "It's Like a Soviet Store. Americans are absolutely horrified by empty shelves from coast to coast." And as we'll see in this article, people all across the country are noticing that these grocery store shelves are becoming emptier and emptier. And we know that according to biblical prophecy, there will come a time when these store shelves will be empty to the point to where people will be fighting each other like enemies out here and killing each other to get their hands on whatever's left. This is 2 Esdras chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 22. "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." Americans are absolutely horrified by empty shelves from coast to coast, and suddenly shall the full storehouses be found empty. From your Walmarts, Kroger's, Winn-Dixie, Rouse's, Publix, Best Buy, Walgreens, Rite Aid, etc., etc. "And the trumpets shall give a sound, which, when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time, when the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, shall friends fight one against another like enemies." People that used to be so-called good friends, good neighbors, and even loved ones are going to fight each other like bitter enemies to get their hands on whatever's left. And it's going to get to the point to where people are going to be breaking into each other's houses, and even cannibalism is going to come back in a big way. "And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." And while you may see a reprieve with these shortages here or there, ultimately these shortages are going to get worse, and to the point to where these store shelves are going to be damn near completely empty. And as it says, friends shall fight one against another like enemies. And these shortages are being caused by the elites, such as the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Merovingians, you name it, who have used this whole Cragamuffin 19 since 2020 to lead to these supply chain disruptions and these shortages. They want you people desperate out here and killing each other so they can be justified in bringing in a state of martial law and fully enacting their NW0, the GREATRESET, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and get you people to mandatorily take the MICROCHIPIMPLANT, the MOTB, the Charagma in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 17. And in videos I've done in the past dealing with these coming shortages, I showed how the government is going to farmers and telling them, look, we'll pay you extra money if you destroy your own crops, but if you don't destroy your crops, we'll take away lucrative subsidies from you, which is really going to hinder you. So not only are these elites causing these shortages due to direct supply chain disruptions, but they're also going to these farmers and telling them to destroy their crops to further exacerbate the issue. But on top of the elites, it's ultimately through the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi to bring about these shortages and famines and people fighting against each other and killing each other. It's the judgments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi on you people for all the wickedness you've been committing. We're living in the last seconds of these last days, the last seconds of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites, or the so-called white people, before the second coming of Yahawashi Hamashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, and the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, where the true children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, will be ruling in for eternity. But now let's get into this article. "And suddenly shall the full storehouses be found empty." A year ago, we were promised that the Biden regime would be leading us into a new golden era of prosperity. Obviously, that has not happened. Instead, we are dealing with bare store shelves and painfully high prices from coast to coast. Many are comparing this crisis to the Jimmy Carter era of the 1970s, but we didn't have persistent shortages for months on end back then. And that's because, again, we're living in the last seconds of these last days before the end of the rulership of the heathen nations and the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven. And there's going to be a lot of death, destruction, and misery in between here getting to there. At this point, nobody can deny what is happening. Even the Washington Post is admitting that social media is swamped with pictures of empty grocery shelves. The Biden administration promised to resolve our supply chain problems, but they just keep getting worse. When Fox News asked one grocery shopper about the empty shelves, he delivered a chilling response that many of us will not forget anytime soon. It's like a Soviet store during 1981. It's horrible. And here's that clip from Fox News, which I'm going to play. And real quick, I do not own the rights to this clip or stand to gain from it monetarily. This is a fair usage of this clip simply for educational purposes.
Honestly, it looks like March of 2020 when everybody was stockpiling and the shelves were bare.
Much of nothing.
It's like a Soviet store during 1981. It's horrible.
Really, nothing in there. No meats, no juices, no orange juice, nothing.
Everything, meat, egg, dairy, certain breads were out, most vegetables. It was all fresh items.
I was honestly astounded. I didn't hear anything about this on the news or anything, so I actually asked somebody else that was in there. I was like, is this something I'm not missing that I didn't get the big memo on? And she said, no, it's like this. Every grocery store I've been to, it's been like this for a week.
I've been to a few grocery stores for a few days, and a lot of the stores have been down like this. I think that we're about to have a food shortage. Everything's pretty empty.
A lot of stuff going on, but it's like real empty. And even when I went to other stores, like, me and my family went to the grocery stores, like a lot of other stores are empty as well.
There's not a lot. Pretty much all the produce is gone. There's maybe a few solitary peppers. I think I saw some artichokes. That's about it. All the milk and all the half and half is gone. Basically anything that can expire is shelf stable. I don't know when the last time it was here, but it's gone. It looks, it's just empty shelves.
Very little meat, and whatever meat in there is like super high priced, and then extreme little produce. It's kind of scary. It's just domino effect. I mean, just complete total domino effect. Workers, supply chain, Omicron.
The giants in D.C., majority of them like that. I don't know what's going on, while all of it disappearing like that, all the food and groceries and stuff, but they need to do something about it.
There was nothing. Thankfully, I also had a friend who came before me and said, don't even bother coming in. They don't have any trucks. Nobody's been able to get in what they need.
It was the emptiest I've ever seen in Trader Joe's. It's the kind of thing that happens these days.
Whatever it is, I know they need to hurry up and get it straightened out because people be starving. They're going to be starving out here because they don't got nothing, nowhere to, where can they go ahead and get some meat at? So, it's going to get rough if you keep on continuing like that.
And it is going to get rough and keep on continuing like this. And you can see this old Jake here is already getting upset. Everybody you saw giving interviews in this clip in the not too distant future are going to be fighting each other like enemies and killing each other to get their hands on whatever's left to not only fill their bellies, but the bellies of their loved ones. It's about to get real out here. Prior to the situation, many Americans believed that it was impossible for something like this to ever happen in the United States of America. But it is happening because it's all through the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to fulfill prophecy and bring judgment down on you wicked people. Another shopper that was interviewed by Fox News actually used the word starving in his response. Larry, another DC shopper, told Fox News, whatever it is, I know they need to hurry up and get this straightened out because people will be starving. It's going to get rough if it keeps on continuing like that. And you Americans are going to break quick when these things get really bad out here. The majority of you have been pampered through your whole lives and can't take just the littlest bit of adversity. Multiple shoppers rattled off a litany of groceries they couldn't find, ranging from milk to beverages to produce. Everything. Meat, egg, dairy, certain breads were out. Most vegetables, it was all fresh items, one man said as he left a giant grocery store. No, nobody in this country is going to be starving in the near future. Hey, well, we'll see about that, as we read from the scriptures. Hey, it's going to get desperate out here. But without a doubt, things are starting to get really crazy. In fact, things are so bad that even CNN has been forced to admit that our store shelves are being wiped clean. Grocery store shelves across America are wiped clean, and they're staying empty as stores struggle to quickly restock everyday necessities such as milk, bread, meat, canned soups, and cleaning products. Disgruntled shoppers, and in those times shall friends fight one against another like enemies, have unleashed their frustration on social media over the last several days, posting photos on Twitter of bare shelves at Trader Joe's locations, Giant Foods, and public stores, among many others. If fear of the Omarion can do this, what would our country look like during a major, long-term national emergency? You might want to start thinking about that. But with us having an understanding of the scriptures, we know exactly what it's going to look like. All hell breaking loose out here. All pandemonium, death, destruction, and misery everywhere you look. So like we always tell you, sincere Akim out there, you should have all 10 toes down in this truth, pushing this word as hard as you possibly can to make your calling and election sure, so you can have that protective hedge of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai over you to shield you from all these destructive calamities and judgments of Jacob's trouble, which, as we can clearly see, are quickly coming. But now I'm going to close it out in 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 19, to give you an idea of the things to come, if it still hasn't sunk in. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And the modern day sword, especially in the United States of America, is the gun. Hey, beside the literal swords and whatever else people are going to have in those days. Bats, hammers, knives, clubs, machetes, chains, brass knuckles, Molotov cocktails, etc., etc., and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, food, and suddenly shall the full storehouses be found empty among a shortage and a lack of other essential items, and for great tribulation, point blank, period. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.